So the Quran said, يَضْرِبُهُنَّ, in one of the verses of the Quran, said that when a man has a rebellious wife, that means she's unseemly in her conduct. She come and go, she comes late at night, she does this, she disrespects, so forth. The Prophet ﷺ said, he said, admonish her. That means talk to her. Give her admonition. Tell her how you're displeased with her conduct. Warn her, tell her don't do that anymore. Then he says after that, separate from her bed. Separate from the bed. He didn't say separate from the house, separate from the bed. That means continue to do all the responsibilities as normal, but when it comes to conjugal relationships, stop. Don't sleep with her. As a matter of fact, sleep in the same room, but don't sleep in the bed. That means no sex. That's hard. That's just as hard for the man as it is for the woman. But the Prophet ﷺ here is saying, if you really want to control her behavior, or if you really want to admonish her, if you're really displeased with the way she's acting, you deny yourself and you also deny her. SubhanAllah. Then he says that if she continues even after that, then the Quran says, يَضْرِبُهُنَّ. It says, apply light corporal punishment with a context to it. It must not swell. It must not cause bleeding. It must not cause any breakage. And it must not cause any damage to her skin. So what can you do? What kind of beating is that? Secondly, it must not be on any one of her parts of her body, okay, which are the sensitive parts of her body. So what kind of, where that could be? In the bottom of her feet? The third thing, the Prophet ﷺ said that if even doing that, hitting her on the leg or tapping her on the shoulders, or if that would cause a worse reaction, don't do that. Look, subhanAllah, the wisdom. Now let's put it in context. In the Arab society in which this Quran came to the Arabs first, did it? Where did it come first? Came to the Arabs first. So in their society, it was considered something of urf. How many Arabs here know the word urf? Urf. Common usage. Huh? Custom. So among the Arabs, this issue, يَضْرِبُهُنَّ, it was consistent with the urf of the Arabs of that day. It was not outside of the context. It was not abnormal. So when Allah said, يَضْرِبُهُنَّ, to them it was something to modify. Because the Arabs in that day, maybe they just take something like this and beat the wife with it. Or maybe in that day, the man, he had something like this here to beat the wife with. See, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is modifying their behavior, and he's saying, يَضْرِبُهُنَّ خَفِيفًا, very light. And the Prophet ﷺ is saying that even in doing it like that, if it's more, if you don't think you can correct her behavior, because she getting even more wilder, more arrogant, more boisterous, even from that, don't even do it. Because today, different reactions could happen. If a man separates from the bed, the woman, she might get crazy. If he touch her, she might get more crazy. She might pull out a gun and shoot him. Or she might wait till he go to sleep and do something that other lady did. So if you could anticipate a reaction like that, that would be worse. You couldn't correct the behavior. The Prophet said, don't do it. And let's look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ himself. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ, throughout his entire life, he never even struck an animal. Is it true? The Prophet ﷺ never struck an animal. One of the people that served him all of his life, a companion of the Prophet ﷺ that served him from the time that he was 11 years old until the Prophet ﷺ passed away. He said, I served the Prophet ﷺ throughout his entire life, and he never even said to me, oof. He never even said to me, why you didn't do that? How come you so-and-so? You know, somebody's serving me. And he forgot. I said, what's wrong with you? Didn't I tell you so-and-so? That'd be most of us. The Prophet ﷺ, he never even said to that person, how come you didn't do that? What's wrong with you? That person served him for over 40 years, and the Prophet ﷺ never said that. The third thing, the Prophet ﷺ, he never ever laid his hands on his wife except in a way of kindness, in a way of showing mercy, or in a way of dignity or decency. And there was never in the life of the Prophet ﷺ any complaint by any wife. During the time of the Prophet ﷺ, no companions came, no female companions came and said, oh, Prophet ﷺ, your companions who are our husbands, they are beating us and they are this and they are that. No, this wasn't among the Prophet ﷺ's time. This wasn't done because he did not approve it. So even though the Quran, based upon the urf of the Arabs, even though the Quran said this, the Prophet himself, what did he do? He didn't do it. He wasn't disobedient to God. It was just that the Quran says certain things for us as a last resort that we don't have to do.